All right, guys. Um, this is Lean Keto Times, and it's for Spiderbitevenom.com. Got my famous keto chili, which is a kind of a curry spice chili. Great recipe. Also, my keto cocoa recipe, which is a little stevia without the maltodextrin, and then a little cinnamon from a vanilla extract, and yeah, it's good. And then heavy whipped cream. And then I have my Spiderbitevenom cold drink, which is sparkling mineral water and a little lime juice, and then I got my apple cider vinegar. Got my salmon. It's not wild caught, but it is, I would imagine, organic farm raised from Norway, imported from Norway, so should still be pretty good. And then this is my piece of raw milk cheese, imported from France, and my avocado salad with tomatoes, olives, and garlic. So anyways, just came from the gym, so I'm looking kind of ratty, about to jump in the shower. But today I want to talk about why it's important to focus on what you can control. Now, as you know, I mean, someone who follows a combination of both Jedi philosophy and Stoic philosophy, focusing on what you can control is basically going to be repeated over and over again throughout my videos. But today in particular, I want to talk about why focusing on what you can control makes you a more happier person versus trying to focus on things you can't control. And I know I've talked about this before, but it's good to talk about it again, because to me it's the key to happiness. But basically, there are basically, in my opinion, two universal laws in nature. One being you're pushed or forced things to do, and then another, you're pulled towards things that you want to do. And if we think about, things that we are pulled towards or drawn to, they tend to be things that we like, things that we find pleasure in, things that we obviously get a amount of joy out of, things that really make us happy, at the end of the day. However, there are a lot of times obstacles to how long those things last, obstacles to actually getting those things. You can almost kind of see it like, you have a horse and buggy and the horse is pulling the cart, but there's rocks and maybe potholes in the way. So if one of the potholes or one of the rocks are big enough, it would actually stop the cart, or at least cause it to bump around, and then maybe eventually it'll still get to its destination, but those obstacles are still in the way. And same thing with force. When we're forced or pressured to do something, a lot of times it's for things that we don't want to do, things that we know is not going to make us happy, things that we're pressured to do, this sort of thing. But for some reason, we think we have to do them. And those things as well force us to run into obstacles um, you know, maybe face a certain challenge. And, you know, we have to really think about what it is that we are leaning more towards. You know, when we want something out of life, or we want something, or we have a goal in mind, you know, do we feel pressure to do it? Do we feel forced to do it? Or do we feel drawn to do it? You know, it's easier to be drawn towards things because there's no pain attached to it, or at least we don't have to assign any pain to it. But when we feel like we're forced to do something, we feel like we have to, you know, do something because someone's pressuring us or something, then it's very difficult, if not impossible, to not assign any pain. You know, unless it's beyond our control, then there's no way we can assign, or there's no way we can not assign pain to it. So now we need both. You know, sometimes for whatever circumstances we're forced to do things. You know, we're pressured to do stuff. We don't want to do it, and in those cases, so good. In those cases, it's good to reassign our emotions to those type of events. So, say for instance, you know, my car recently had got some water damage, and now the car radio doesn't work. So I may be forced to, well, at the time, this happened a few days ago, I felt like I'm forced to buy a new car radio because the radio stopped working. However, you know, I chose not to be upset by it, but actually kind of look at it as an opportunity to get a new radio. Well, I haven't got a new radio yet, and interesting enough, it seems like my radio, or at least the audio, the sound is starting to come back in my car radio, so we'll see what happens. We'll see how long that lasts. But I bring up that example because it's something that, you know, I might have been forced to do something that I didn't want to do. Another example where you might be drawn to do something is, you know, I plan on taking a trip to Europe. So, you know, I want to go there, I want to visit, and see certain things and travel and so forth. And my desire for those things draw me to it. Now, obviously, there's going to be obstacles. You know, I have to come up with the money, I have to get a passport, you know, that sort of thing. But the thing about it is, you know, I automatically have, at least in the short term, no reason to reassign my emotions towards that trip because it's something that I want to do. No one's forcing me to do it. So what we want to try to do is basically train ourselves to assign the same feelings of, you know, positive emotions to certain things that we either are forced to do or things that we're drawn to do. and that will help us to lead a happier life. If we were to only be happy when we want something and it's given to us, then we'll be very upset and disappointed when the exact opposite happens. And unfortunately, most of the world lives in this paradigm. They don't get what they want, so they spend most of their time arguing and complaining and blaming other people for their problems and for why they don't get what they want. And that's the reason why they're unhappy. And they don't realize that complaining and blaming other people doesn't really solve anything. Because again, you can only focus on what you can control, which is yourself and your emotions. So instead of complaining about these things, we can accept things the way they are, see them as opportunities to train ourselves on how to reassign our emotions to those particular events. Every time something happens, you can say, oh, it's a perfect opportunity for me to apply some type of Stoic philosophy or Jedi mentality where I can look at the situation and not necessarily be happy about it, because nobody can be happy about problematic stuff, but to say, oh well, here's an opportunity for me to not be upset at it and maybe learn from it, and then focus on what it is that I can do about it, what it is that I can control. And as long as what we do is not trying to control others or the situation, only to maybe protect ourselves physically, because that's within our control too. We can try to protect ourselves, not that it's guaranteed, but we can do whatever we can to protect ourselves. That's really all we need to focus on. Instead of complaining and worrying about it, we can actually focus on what we can do to remedy the problem. Now, a bad way to go about this is to say, oh, well, my goal is to have this big fancy car, like a Rolls Royce or something, but I don't have the money to get it, so I'm going to go rob and steal or whatever to get that car. Well, that is not how you solve the problem, because you are trying to control things that are beyond your control. When you do that, you end up breaking laws, whether laws of nature or civic laws or what have you. And those laws are going to create consequences that you have to pay for. So at some point you're going to pay for it. And this is how we have to look at everything. Nothing's for free. You can't undo history because we don't like the present. You can't complain about it I mean, we can, but it does us no good to complain about it, because we would have to live from now to the however how many years history has been around to change things, and that's not possible. So there's no way you can control it. And there's no way you can pay a price that high. So you do things to get what you want, thinking that you can get it for free or get it without paying the price, or not pay the consequences, then you're going to find out otherwise. You're going to find out that's not the case. There's always a price for something you have to that you want. Even the ones that we maybe see throughout history who have gotten away with stuff, and maybe it's gotten it for free. Somebody gave it to them. Maybe they inherited it or what have you. Ultimately, those people will die if they haven't. If they're not dead already. And once they're dead, that's the ultimate price for everything that we do in life. So nobody gets away with not paying. At the end of the day, we all pay with our life. We die. So it's better to live life by not paying for stuff that we don't necessarily have to pay for. So we can afford to do things that we really want to do. That's called learning from other people's mistakes. And if we don't want to do things that way, then we're just going to be another statistic, so that someone in the future, whether it's 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 1,000 years from now, can say, oh, okay, what you did proves that if you do this, this is the price you're going to pay. So I better not do it. So it doesn't matter if you think you can get away with stuff or not. Ultimately, you'll die. More than likely, you won't get away with it. And then you'll just prove to the rest of the world that, again, what you did doesn't work. Which brings me to my next thing I want to talk about briefly, which is when you do something, you decide to do something. There's a saying, count the cost. Decide whether or not you want to do it for you or you want to do it to impress others. If it's to impress others, that means you're going to try to control things that you cannot control. And you may get away with it, you may not. But you do get away with it, at some point, you're not. And then when you don't, you're gonna be upset about it. Which means you're not happy. You thought that what you wanted to get, even though you might be the best at it, you got away with it for so long. At the end of the day, it doesn't make you happy, because now somebody else was able to do it just as good as you, or if not, at some point you're gonna die. And nobody will remember your name. Or if they do, maybe just in passing. So everything that you do in life should be about you. What you want, what makes you happy, and not try to impress other people. That means focus on what you can control. Everything else, so be it. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, oh well, I'm still happy. Here's another opportunity to prove to myself that I'm happy either way. And that takes work. It takes training. That's what life is about. Because the more we do it, the more confident we are in ourselves that we can do it, which makes us happy. Our happiness comes from living a life confidently. Living a life without fear. Living a life that, not afraid to live. That's what makes us happy. And we try to impress other people, we're not living to make us happy. Even though we might think we are. We're actually living to control other people. We're living in fear. We're afraid that other people are not gonna want us to be alive, not like us at all, not want us to be around. And unless we impress them, then we're no good. And that's no way to live. So anyways, finished with my meal. About to go take a shower. And I hope what I said makes some kind of sense. But we're posting this video on my Spiderbitevenom.com website. And until next time, keep taking action.